everyone. So I really quickly wanted to just go through a little pros and cons and comparison of covers and pockets, which are the two diapering systems that we use. We started off with covers and pre-folds because that's the most economic way to diaper. And then I sort of accidentally discovered pockets, and I love pockets, but I love both for different reasons. So that's why I'm gonna walk you through some of the pros and cons in my experience. So with covers, the great thing is that generally you can wipe them down after pee and then reuse them. If they poo, you're probably going to want to exchange it out for a new one. There have been occasions, like in the very early days, where he had like maybe a tiny little smear of a poo, and then so the diaper wasn't stinky and there was no poo on the cover, and I did reuse those covers then. But otherwise, when there's poo, you're usually going to want to spray off because the poo's probably gotten on like the elastics or something. Now the thing with covers is that you can reuse them, but what I found, and this is one of the cons, is that if baby pees a lot or floods the diaper, sometimes pee gets on the elastics, and then you can't really reuse them because, one, that might irritate baby, but also it stinks. Or if it has a flap, again, sometimes if baby pees too much, then this might get wet. With this brand, this is Bebe Boo, like I don't usually have an issue with the flap, but occasionally like our baby just pees so much that I feel like wiping it down isn't good enough. And so we just switch it out after one use. But one other thing I like about covers, aside from the fact that they're more economic because you ideally can reuse them, is that they can hold more absorbency. So if you have a heavy wetter like ours, I found covers can be very beneficial because I can stuff it a little more and it doesn't get all wonky. Like for example, this pocket has a flap, and I think most pockets have flaps, not sure, at the front. And so we pack the front a lot because our boy pees in the front, as most boys do. And so if you stuff it a lot, then this flap gets a little wonky, sometimes doesn't tuck in well, and that's a little annoying. And also if you overstuff, then you might get a leg gap. So that's the downside of the pocket, is it's not necessarily great for heavy wetters, but the covers are. That's one reason why I like the covers. And with this design and the double leg gussets, like they just fit our baby really well right now. But then the downside, as I had mentioned, is that sometimes you only get one use out of them, and a lot of times for us now, especially with baby being such a heavy wetter, we only get one use out of the covers because it just pees too much. Now the pockets, the reason I like them is because it makes spraying poop off easier, because you just have one surface to spray the poop off. And so a lot of times in the mornings or up until baby poos, I keep them in a pocket. The other benefit to pockets is that it's easy for other people to put on baby because they don't have to worry about the different layers of absorbency you might have in your diaper coming apart, falling out, or whatever. So with the covers, sometimes that can be a little bit annoying or a hassle, especially when you've got a really wiggly baby and they're just trying to escape the change pad. I definitely have had moments of frustration at the diaper changing station when baby would not stay still, and when I've got a cover, sometimes it gets messed up. But yeah, so I really like having both. That helps keep our stash moderate, because then I can also alternate between them. But yeah, so that's basically like the pros and cons of the diapers, of the two diapering systems in my experience. I'd be curious if you have other pros and cons, things you like and don't like about either system. But otherwise, I'm very happy with our cloth diapering systems and having both options. Alrighty, well, hopefully that was a little bit helpful and insightful for some of you in case you're considering which ones to go with. Like at one point, I thought, oh, I think I want to switch out my stash to all pockets, but I'm really glad I didn't. Because again, it's really useful to have both. And like I said, like had I switched to pockets, like we would have had trouble many times with being able to stuff what we need to stuff in here. So yeah. Okie dokie. Well, we'll see you all in another video very soon.